Hello again, Dothackers. Kept you waiting a while, sorry about that. Let's get into it. Last time we went through the anime Dothack Sign, the anime that marked the beginning of the Dothack series as a whole, featuring the player Tsukasa who ends up trapped in the fictional MMORPG The World, and is manipulated and abused by the evil godlike AI that oversees the entirety of the game's world. Originally, she had preferred being trapped in the game while her body in the real world was in a coma and hospitalized, as it allowed her to escape from the terrible life she lived in the real world. However, after she learns to cope with the internal pain of abuse, trauma, and loss, as well as learning to open herself up to those she'd eventually consider friends, they all realize the truth behind her imprisonment and work together to set Tsukasa free from the game, recover from her coma, and wake up in the real world. Most importantly, this also awakened a little girl named Aura, the daughter of the evil AI. However, even though that event results in a happy ending, it isn't a complete victory, as we eventually learn that Tsukasa wasn't the only player to become a coma victim as a result of the mysterious and evil abnormalities of the world's most popular online game. While Tsukasa is able to recover, the player known as Sora unfortunately becomes another victim. As for the girl Aura, she seems to have disappeared. That is until now. That event took place in 2009. Fast forward to 2010, and we quickly learn that this storm is only just starting, and by the end of it, the strings of events will collectively be known as the Twilight Incident. Now, I could be wrong, but I'd hazard that having a string of games, each one continuing where the last one ended, while allowing the player to transfer their save data of the previous game over to the next one in sequence, was probably a first for the video game industry. Sure, there have been games in the past that have recognized other games on a system's memory card, like Metal Gear Solid, but a game series like this, I'd imagine it'd be the first, but don't quote me on that, as there is a good chance that I'm completely wrong, and if I am, please don't hesitate to correct me. Regardless, considering this incident begins in earnest and is covered throughout the next 4 games in sequence, I'm going to include them all together, including the anime companion DVDs that are included with each game. Yes, all 4 games come packaged with OVA that shows how the Twilight Incident impacted the real world, and how some people responded to it. Quite ambitious for its time. Not only that, but I must admit, considering how obsessed I've become with the series in my early years, I'm going to try and provide an analysis and explain as in-depth as I can the events of the series. So sit back, lock in, because we have a lot to cover. With that out of the way, let's go. Of course, I say that, but before we can even start playing the game, we're greeted with this awesome opening cutscene displaying a fictional desktop with a notification of a new email being received, followed by other cutscenes from the game coupled together with opera-esque music combined with techno beats and a whole lot of visual and audio static before transitioning to a classical piano piece before the whole cutscene itself shuts down as if the computer was abruptly shut off. Soon we see a strange rock covered in glowing symbols wrapped in tattered cloth, while a mysterious female voice recites a stanza from a poem translated from German to English. This poem, The Epitaph of Twilight, was written by the famous web poet Emma Wieland. Next, witnessing the startup of the game's fictional computer operating system, Ultimate OS, and considering how this series is emulating online games with its own fictional MMO coupled with the fact that the new installment is a video game instead of just an anime, we're able to exercise that core concept even more. We're not just playing the game. We're playing as the main character, which allows us to give a name to the protagonist's player character and a username for the player himself. The names can be whatever you want, but for canon reasons, his name is officially Kite. Unfortunately, we're never given the name of the player behind the computer monitor. However, there are some potential names, as you can see me painstakingly try to choose from, that have been suggested by other supplemental Dothack media. Anyway, the registration and creation process is finished, and after hearing the main character, voiced by the lovely Mona Marshall, narrating the completion of the user registration and character creation, We're placed at the desktop of our main antagonist, complete with its own email service, online news browser, its own ability to change desktop wallpaper, some of them slightly animated, and even its own music player. The similarities don't stop there, as we'll see throughout the 4 games. As a result of the registration completion, Kite receives flash mails from CC Corp, which, in case you aren't aware of, and you didn't see my Dothack Spine retrospective, hint hint, is the game company behind the world. The 2 flash mails inform Kite and the player of general information related to the game. Treasure boxes, elemental mechanics, etc., the typical boilerplate stuff, as well as describing the newest version of the game, the World version 2.75. She also receives a 3rd flash mail from his best friend and classmate, Yasuhiko, telling him that he's waiting for him to log in. Upon logging in, we enter Makanu. Sound familiar? Well, for those that don't, it's one of the main locations or root towns within the game for players to be in. Kite's greeted by another player, a man named Orca of the Blade Master class. At first, Kite's confused about who he is, but then realizes it's Yasuhiko, astonished by his appearance. However, Yasuhiko isn't his moniker in the game, it's Orca, and he's apparently rather famous in the game. After the meet and greet, Orca gives Kite his member address, a type of address that allows players to communicate with each other, form parties, etc., similar to the friend list in various real online games. The more friends you have, the more fun you have. Next, Orca teaches Kite about the Chaos Gate system. Back in Dothack Sign, we didn't see much use in it. But now we see exactly how it works. In order to create and enter an area, the player needs to combine 3 keywords from 3 different lists to form the name of the area. These words determine various parameters that make up the area, including the type of field, the area's elemental type, its level, the monsters, the item quantity, the weather, which also sometimes determines the weather's element, and even cosmetic parameters like the number of structures littered in the field. After creating his first area, Kite and Orca enter the grassland, and Orca teaches Kite camera controls and how to fight. Unlike other JRPGs or online games in general, the monsters here appear from rotating magic portals created to trap the monsters, but they are incredibly unstable and break down once the player gets close enough. Eventually they enter the area's dungeon. Every area has one. But before they get far, they hear a loud boom and witness 2 figures, one chasing the other, and the figures that should be familiar to those who've watched Dothack Sign, Skaith and Aura. Considered about how and why they were running through an area with such a low level, but with no other choice, they carry on. The 2 explore the dungeon to its entirety and reach the room containing the god statue. Just like in Dothack Sign, only now we're given the name for the dungeon's treasure room. However, because neither of them is carrying a sprite ocarina, they're unable to teleport out of the dungeon, leaving them with no choice but to backtrack to the entrance. However, they don't get far when they suddenly are transported to a strange new area, completely separate and anomalous compared to the rest of the game. Kite and Orca stand on a large floating piece of land covered in strange geoglyphs and large glowing green hexagons clustered together in straight lines. Above them, shades of green color the sky of the area. Large broken structures and large fragments of earth float about everywhere. Suddenly, Aura appears and approaches them. Orca mentions a rumor, and Aura produces a book and begs Orca to take it, stating that the power within can bring either salvation or destruction at the whim of the user. Orca takes the book, but before he can ask further, Aura senses another approaching presence and disappears, leaving the 2 in silence.
Run! It'll kill you! What the hell? What is this? Something wrong! Nothing works! wasn't supposed to be this way. I'm sorry. Get out of here!
Back in the real world, when Kite recovers from his temporary coma, he wonders what the hell happened to his friend and he tries to call Yasuhiko to no avail. The next day, he learns that his friend has fallen comatose as well and is hospitalized. Unable to understand how he fell into a coma, he theorizes that the answer to the mystery lies within the world. Soon after, Kite goes to the game's forums to inquire about what happened while giving the player, you, a chance to learn more about the game's various mechanics on the forums. Unfortunately, that's all I can do as the game is down and is recovering from the incident. Returning to his desktop, he receives a flash mail, but the ID of the sender and the subject field is corrupted. The contents are corrupted as well, though somewhat more readable. Basically, the sender is calling out to Kite for help, as Skaith is still looking for her. Eventually, the game is back online and Kite logs in. Immediately, he notices another player wandering around aimlessly. Wait, doesn't she look like someone? Anyway, confused, he just watches her. She then notices him staring at him and admonishes him for staring, and then runs off. That was awkward. Anyway, Kite and the player, meaning you, are finally able to explore Makanu, the root town of the Delta server of the world, and it looks like a one-to-one recreation of how it looked in Sign. The only difference is that you can't ride the canoes like Subaru and Silver Knight could. After searching the town, gathering items and equipment, he returns to the Chaos Gate when the same player from before catches him. She offers Kite some interesting keywords that he can use if he agrees to take the player with him to the area. Without any choice, he agrees and receives the player's member address. Black Rose, a heavy blade at the same level as Kite, voiced by the lovely Wendy Lee. After forming a party with her, Kite enters the keywords, hidden, forbidden, holy ground, transporting them to the same cathedral from Dothack Sign, and just like Makanu, it's a one-to-one representation. Though you can't stand on the rooftops like in the anime. How do they even get up there anyway? It doesn't matter. Upon entering the cathedral, they're immediately accosted by an appearing goblin monster. Black Rose panics in a corner while Kite uses the knowledge he learned from Orca and fells the monster. At the far end, they notice the statue of Aura wrapped in 8 chains. Kite then reads an inscription of the names, including Skaith and 2 others, indicating that even though Skaith is hunting Aura, it isn't alone. But unfortunately, the rest of the names are too faded to read. At the same time, Black Rose admits that she's a new player as well, considering how she reacted to the goblin. She bows to him in gratitude and begins to explain why she's playing the game when another player thunders into the cathedral. And when you know it, it's Balmonk of the Azure Sky. He demands to know what they're doing here and frantically tries to warn them to leave, but it's too late, as static fills the room and a monster warps into the cathedral. At first, it's just an ordinary monster that Balmonk is able to effortlessly kill. However, a strange phenomenon occurs and the felled monster rises to its feet. completely resurrected and is now covered in glowing hexagons. Balmung explains that the monster has been infected by a virus, and as a result, its health is infinite. Black Girl surmises that this is the thing behind the cause of something, and charges in to try to kill it. Balmung chases after her, and Kite stays behind watching, unsure of what to do.
The book. Open the book.
The book?
The power it holds can bring forth either salvation or destruction at the whim of the user.
That was like the time when Orca...
That skill. Now, I understand. You are the same as the virus. To think that I was saved by someone like you.
No! That's not... I don't even know what's...
Do not lie to me! Recently, many places within the world have been damaged by a virus. Those who willfully spread the virus and destroy this world for their own amusement, they shall receive no mercy.
No, that's not me,
I did not expect to find the one responsible so soon. Draw! Draw your sword, now!
I won't! There's no reason to do that!
There is for me.
No! I don't want to fight!
What is the matter with you? That's hardly the way to talk to someone who just saved your life.
I still do not trust you. I just require the time to think this through. But if I find out that you are indeed in with them, I will kill you.
That was rather childish for Balmung of the Azure Sky, the descendant of Fianna.
I do not speak with hackers.
That boy, he's a friend of your partner.
Orca?
I thought he would end up like Orca, and I panicked. That's when I heard her voice. It was the voice of the girl who gave the book to Orca.
I see. But what are you going to do if the data bug shows up again? That power put your friend... sorry.
I don't even know what this power is, or what she wanted Orca to do. And what am I supposed to do with this power? All I want to do is help Orca.
Exhausted, the two players return to town and Black Rose logs off for the night. Upon logging out himself, he's surprised to learn that his post on the game forums has been deleted. Migrating back to his desktop, he receives 2 flash mails, one from Black Rose saying that she believes him, and another, more important email from Helba. This email explains Kite's new power, called Data Drain. Manifesting in the form of a bracelet called the Twilight Bracelet, it's the power that Skate used on Orca, and it's the same power that we've seen Tsukasa's Guardian uses, and what Aura's mother used back on Tsukasa himself back in Dothack Sign. Finally, we have a name. It may look different, but it's the same power. The power to alter data at the whim of the user. According to her, when a monster takes enough damage, a glowing blue sphere encapsulates the monster with blue text that reads Protect Break. This status allows Kite to data drain the monster, altering the monster's data, reducing it to level 0, and turning it into a monster that shouldn't exist in the game. Sort of like a baby version of the monster. As for the players, we've already seen what happened to Orca, but the details go deeper, but we'll circle back to that later. Regardless, this power is necessary to deal with the corrupted monsters known as data bugs. As Data Drain alters the monster's data, extracts the corrupted portion of the data from it, and changes the monster back to normal. The extracted corrupted data gets reformed as special items called virus cores. Of course, there are negative side effects to this power. The more Data Drain is used, the more the viral infection, quote-unquote, on Kite's character increases. The more the lethality grows, the higher the chance that Kite sustains negative side effects, stemming from a random negative status effect to a level decrease to a total game over, depending on how high the lethality is. Although there is also a chance of a beneficial effect of having the entire party's health and SP being recovered as well, so it kind of balances out. However, the more Kite and his party defeat monsters regularly without Data Drain, the more the lethality on this character decreases. On top of that, Helba warns Kite of another issue. Because he's in possession of a power that shouldn't exist, he's being watched. And he's also going to be hunted. And that he should be prepared. A day later, Kite logs in and overhears 2 players, one of them named Sieg. Pay attention to this name and keep it in the back of your head. He'll come up later. Gossiping about a strange player character of the form of a humanoid cat. They question whether or not it's possible to create a character like that. Short answer, no. Again, keep this in mind. Wandering into Makanu's alley where the Kite character is rumored to be, Kite encounters 2 players planning to go to an area. One of the players is Elk, a wave master who looks almost exactly like Tsukasa, and indeed, the other player character in appearance of a purple talking cat named Mia. As the 2 players plan their activities, Mia suddenly senses Kite approaching and immediately runs toward him. When she approaches him, she notices Kite's bracelet, as that was what she immediately sensed. Grabbing his arm, she asks to take a closer look. The peculiar thing is, the bracelet to most people is invisible. Only Kite and his friends, meaning those who give him their member address, can see it. Try as he might, Elk can't see it, yet Mia can? That's strange. Anyway, before leaving, she thanks Kite for letting her look at the bracelet and that she believes they'll see each other again real soon. Eventually, he logs out and checks the forums. One post of interest refers to an area where a mysterious girl was spotted. Another new post talks about an area that a player couldn't access because it was a protected area. Upon logging in later, he forms a party with Black Rose, and they embark on a training mission to increase their levels while also getting familiar with the bracelet and Data Drain. Next, they investigate the area where Aura was spotted. When they enter the area, they meet another player telling them that he was told to return to Root Town. Rightfully so, as the area itself is highly corrupted. Giant holes are broken into the area's skybox, exposing the area's raw data. Holes exposing the raw data are also scattered on the ground, coupled that with the strings of raw data floating aimlessly in the air, and the vision display flashing static at random. Eventually, they reach the dungeon and they're greeted by an NPC with an automated message stating that the dungeon is corrupted and requests that all players leave the area. Disobeying the bot for obvious reasons, Kite and Black Rose continue on. Unfortunately, they don't find Aura. Instead, they find another data bug. They work together to the data drain and defeat it, obtaining another virus core. When the monster disappears, Kite and Black Rose are approached by another player spectating the fight, a high-pitched, excitable wave master named Mistrail. Impressed by Kite's ability, she asks how he did it, but she retracts the question when she realizes she's being nosy. She then explains that she came to the dungeon because of the same rumor that Kite saw, and explains that the same corruption in this area can be seen elsewhere throughout the game since the last system failure. Then the conversation takes an abrupt turn as Mistrail realizes that she's burned dinner in the real world. She then leaves, but not before giving Kite her member address. When he returns, he's approached by another hulking player, a heavy axeman named Pyros. He claims that he trusts Kite's eyes and asks for his assistance in bearing witness to Pyros vanquishing a monster in an area. Kite agrees and Pyros excitedly leaves. Busy day. When Kite makes it to Pyros in the dungeon, he does indeed bear witness to Pyros vanquishing a monster. As thanks, he gives Kite a Meteor Strike magic scroll, which is rather powerful and rare on the current server. He also gives Kite his member address and then leaves. When he arrives back in Maganu, he receives a new flash mail. Apparently, it's a notification of Kite being the winner of a campaign hosted by CC Corp called the Power Up Campaign. He also receives another anonymous flash mail warning him to stop asking about problems within the game if she wants to continue playing. Confused about the first flash mail, he logs back in and goes to the nearest shop to claim his prize, an item called the Book of Law, said to upgrade his character level and stats. However, when Kite tries to use the item, an error occurs, blocking his character data from being altered. Which is strange because books are the only main items within the game that can alter a player character, mainly in terms of increasing their stats. So why is the Book of Law malfunctioning? Weird. Later on, Kite receives another flash mail, this one from Mia, surprising him by hinting at another power possessed by the bracelet. If he wanted to learn more, then he should travel to this area alone. When he arrives in the area, Mia contacts him via private message telling him that she's at the lowest level of the dungeon. Kite asks how she knows about the bracelet and data drain, but Mia is unable to answer. Entering the dungeon, Kite ignores the NPC bot delivering the same message as the one from before, and makes it to where Mia and Elk are waiting. Eventually, he finds a magic portal that Mia tells him to trigger. A data bug is unleashed, and Mia tells him to show her the bracelet's power. Ask and you shall receive, as they say, and Kite data drains and defeats the monster. Mia and Elk finally come out of hiding, and she expresses how impressed she is by the bracelet's power. Angry, understandably so, Kite demands to know what Mia's intentions are. She explains that she simply wanted to test Kite's power with the bracelet. Had he failed with the test, then it would have been pointless to teach him about the bracelet's second power, gate hacking. The virus cores Kite's been collecting can be used as keys to disable barriers that block access from certain areas. Following Mia back to Maganu, he receives both her and Elk's member addresses. She then instructs Kite to try and access the area that he couldn't access before. He then presents it with a special menu gauge called the gate hacking menu, a menu that only the holder of the bracelet and their friends can see. Mia then instructs him to fill the empty portion of the gauge with the virus cores that he obtained. With the gauge filled, Kite hacks the protection, disabling it, and successfully enters the new area, in a cool transition that I never get enough of. When they arrive, Mia questions if there is a secret behind the protected gates. When they traverse through the dungeon, they come across another data bug, while Mia states information that we already know at this point, while stating that there needs to be a reason why Kite has the bracelet, which, again, is an answer we already have. When the group kills a data bug, Kite explains the situation to Mia. Though she isn't interested in what happened to Kite in the past, then why did she bring it up? And states that she's more interested in what Kite will do with the bracelet in the future. When Kite thanks her for teaching Kite more about the bracelet, she rebuffs his gratitude and says that she's mainly doing it for her own interests. Back on the forums, there's a post about a special weapon called the Spiral Edge requested by a player named Natsume. There's another post with players talking about the protected area being open again thanks to Kite, and other posts containing idle chit-chat. Similar case when it comes to the news outlet, with some tongue-in-cheek references to Bandai and their real-world handheld console, the WonderSwan, that only came out in Japan, and the fictional development of its successor, the Wonderhawk. Love the name. In his inbox, he receives another flash mail from Helba giving more information about virus cores. They're all giving a letter-based grade dictated by the size of the data-drained monster. However, it's also possible to retrieve virus cores from normal monsters as well. The reason for this is because the digital malady currently plaguing the game is also affecting monsters at random, causing the monsters to undergo an incubation period, as according to Helba, as their data gets slowly corrupted. We saw this back in the Cathedral.
We meet again. Well, it appears that you know Orca.
Know him? He's the one who invited me to come here and play this game.
Then I must ask. I have not been able to contact him since that event. What has become of him?
Do you trust me?
What you say will determine. I see. How much of that is true, I do not know. But do not dare to forget. That bracelet's power is the same as the one that placed Orca into a coma.
Yeah, I know. I don't have to be reminded of it.
You don't have time to get depressed.
Who are you?
A friend, or perhaps a foe. A meddler with a warning.
You sent that email? Helba?
That aside, I must warn you, beware of Leos.
Leos?
Leos is on the side of the system. With that bracelet, you'll be treated as a virus. Also, you need this. You're thinking, how does she know, right? It's not that hard to imagine. Like I said, someone is always watching you.
Hold on. Why are you helping me?
Helping you? Who knows? You might be the one helping me. Take care, little boy.
Time passes and Kite meets Natsume from the forums. He finds a spiral edge for her and gives it to her. As thanks, she gives him her member address, and we learn that she is best girl and I will hear no objections. Back on the forums, the thread that claimed that a player saw Aura being chased by Skaith receives another reply from another player saying that she was spotted in a new area, this time on the Theta server. Aside from that, there's another thread authored by a player named Meg looking for a friend named Alf, who apparently went missing. No, not that Alf. Let's keep that in mind for later. On top of the forum post, Kite received another corrected email from Aura begging him for his help before there are more casualties. Back in the game, we enter Dunloriag, the root town of the Theta server, as it finally opens back up. Just like the Cathedral and Makanu, it's almost a one-to-one representation of its appearance in Dothack sign. Black Rose and Kite both travel to the new area that Aura was rumored to be spotted in. The strange thing is, the forum posts claim that the area is protected. However, the group is able to access it just fine. However, it's still an infected area. Weird. Making it to the dungeon, they find no Aura or any evil AI chasing her. All they find is a dead end. Returning to town, the group has no new leads on the situation. A while later, in Makanu, we see Elk and Mia were talking in their usual spot. He asks Mia about her sudden interest in Kite, but she bluntly rebuffs him. Wondering if there are deeper feelings for him, Elk confesses his feelings for Mia, which triggers some strange feelings Mia has never felt before. Eventually, when Kite logs in, he runs into Elk. Elk asks if he can talk with Kite about something. He claims that his favorite area may have a data bug and needs his help. However, when they get to the area, it turned out the area isn't infected. Elk lied to him and confesses the true reason for his excursion. Jealous of Mia's sudden and unexplained interest in Kite, he asks if Kite would be willing to trade his Twilight bracelet for every item that he has in hopes that Mia will pay attention to him again. Flabbergasted, Kite is unable to answer. Suddenly, static fills the area and it becomes corrupted for real this time. Choosing to investigate the dungeon, they eventually find Mia wandering by herself and accidentally triggers a magic portal, unleashing another data bug. It eventually goes down, and Mia admits that she wasn't looking for Elk, hoping to find him in his favorite area. Apparently, when he isn't around, she starts to miss him for an unexplained reason. Their friendship rekindled, they leave the area. Later on, another thread is posted on the forums by a player named Sanjiro looking for a certain katana. There's another thread posted by players forming a fan club centered around the player named Gardenia. Back in Makanu, Pierce is talking to Mia about an item she gives him. To see that Mia's kindness, Pierce used the item only for it to slightly alter his character erroneously. Hilarious. Kite befriends Sanjiro by giving him the coveted Kotetsu sword. He meets Gardenia and befriends her by earning her respect, and finds a cure for Pierce's predicament, allowing for a bit of levity and Kite to play the game as normal for a while. Back on the forums, more rumors about the game being infected by a virus, along with a conversation of the world's beta version, Fragment. Keep this in mind. Days later, Kite gets a flash mail from Black Rose about the last area that they thought Aura was last spotted in. Turned out the location was changed somehow in the thread. Now they have the actual location, and so they go to investigate. The fact that it's originally a protected area does show promise. Unfortunately, however, Kite doesn't have the right virus cores. Coupled with the fact that Kite's original forum post was deleted and the other vital post was also altered, it gives Black Rose a foreboding feeling. A few days later, Kite logs in to see Mistral bartering with another player for a rare item. She leaves temporarily to try and raise the money for the item, and while she's gone, the Heavy Axeman tries to sell Kite the same item at a significant discount. He forces it on Kite despite the dishonesty, and he warns Kite about Helba before leaving. Mistral eventually returns, and despite not being able to get this so-called rare item, she tells Kite of a mysterious, rumored area that she wants to go to see Kite use the data drain again. It turns out the rumor was true, as it's another protected area. Yet, despite all this rumor circulating throughout the game, Mistral's naivete makes her believe that the corruption is just special effects. Bless her heart. They eventually find and destroy the data bug. Satisfied, Mistral asks where and how Kite obtained the Twilight bracelet. He explains the situation to her, but again, she's too naive as of now to believe him and thinks it's just a personal role-playing quest that he's on. Bless her heart. Regardless, it's a pleasant coincidence that the side adventuring resulted in Kite obtaining the exact virus core he needed for the last protected area. When he and Black Rose enter the area and investigate the dungeon, they find a really strange room.
What the?
And so, I shall name her Aura. Without you, she would not exist. The shining girl, Aura. We will entrust her with our will. Our future is in her hands.
What is this?
I don't know, but Aura is probably that girl.
You mean the girl who gave you the bracelet?
Yes, I just think it's her.
Look! There's more over here!
Shunning the field, broken by wave. The shadowed girl whispers, "Surely I will return." Alas, the truth unbeknownst, awaiting her at journey's end. Eternal mourning for her land.
Well, that doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah.
On the forums, more players replied to the post about Alf. Apparently, she went to search an area, and that was where she was last seen. Another post is talking about a notorious virus called the Deadly Flash. Back in 2003, this virus caused infected systems to flash incredibly fast, which caused seizures and problems with victims' pituitary glands. As a result, it's caused numerous seizures and 7 people died as a result. The perpetrator is still awaiting execution. A few days later, another forum post is directed to Orca from an acquaintance of his. Kite meets with him. After explaining the situation to Bob, there's always room for one, he tells Kite that he was investigating a rumor and points Kite to another player whom Orca was also in contact with. When he reaches her, Linda tells Kite that there's something else lurking deep within the world. That's the rumor that Orca of the Azure Sea and Bulbung of the Azure Sky were investigating. She then tells Kite to just forget about the rumor. If one of the descendants of Fianna, the 2 most powerful players in the game, fell victim to this mysterious entity, then it's too dangerous for a regular player to pursue. Kite refuses as he's his best friend. Understanding this, Linda points Kite to another area that Orca was investigating. Logging out, Kite receives another flash mail from Black Rose. She's managed to contact Alf's friend and plans to meet with her. When they do, Black Rose asks Meg about the area Alf was last seen in, but Meg hesitates. However, she did post the area on the forums. Unfortunately, when they go there and check, the post was deleted. Ugh. Back in the latest news, despite Caesar Corp trying to deny, deflect, and ignore the rumors about players falling into coma, a news article is reported detailing 2 players, Tominari Kasumi and Mai Minase, having fallen comatose. While the latter managed to regain consciousness, the former is still hospitalized. Keep this in mind. Days later, Kite and Black Rose receive a flash mail from Halba. Being the skillful hacker that she is, she's managed to recover the deleted forum post and tells Kite that the area Alf was in before her disappearance. According to her, the data volume of the area itself is abnormally increasing. Kite also receives another flash mail from Aura, and that time is running out. Realizing what's going on, Kite prepares to go. Alone, at first, but Black Rose tags along. Theta, chosen hopeless nothingness. The area that Alf was last seen in, and where Aura is said to be. Kite, Black Rose, and Mistral gate hack into the highly corrupted area. When they do, the Twilight Bracelet begins to react. They're getting close, however, when they get into the dungeon, it's too late.
Aura?
I see you received the mail I sent you. Yet, however, it's too late.
Wait! There's something I have to ask you.
It's Kite, Black Rose, and Mistral versus Skaith, the Terror of Death. Game on. It's a tough fight, like all the other data bugs. Skaith has infinite health, hits incredibly hard, and can even data drain the party, yet strangely, unlike Sora and Black Orca before them, they don't fall into comas. They're just bombarded with incredible damage, their health and SP are drained, and are plagued with every status condition simultaneously. But eventually, Skaith's protection is broken and he's data drained, reduced to a cluster of glowing blue rocks wrapped in weathered cloth, and after wearing him down some more, he's finally destroyed.
Kubia.
We had come so far, but we knew so little. And now, the true battle was about to begin.
He said it best. What happened in 2009 was just a harbinger, and now, this was the beginning of a long, hard war.
I must speak with Morgana to go where she wishes. The living flesh poses a hindrance, but I must go for our aura.
There might have been a 2-month gap between the releases of Infection and Mutation, but for Kite and Black Rose and Mistral, they were only comatose for 5 minutes after encountering Kubia. After coming to, Kite and Black Rose log back in and receive flash mails from Mistral expressing her enjoyment in the event and that she wants to do it again. Bless her heart. Black Rose also reaches out to Kite, expressing her worry. She thought getting rid of Scathe would be the end of it, but now she's not so sure. Did they do the right thing? Aside from that, the world has been updated to the version 2.90 with a new feature added: Grunty Racing. In the news outlet, rumors of games causing comas are still circulating and are being debunked by university professors and CC Corp alike, while the coma victims are showing no signs of recovery. Back on the forums, rumors begin to circulate about a virus accompanied by screen noise that some players have reportedly heard. Personally, the more I think about it, I think that noise was Kubia's roaring, but I'm not sure if there's any way to prove that. Another thread talks about an era called the Twilight of the New Gods that ensued after an incident called Pluto's Kiss, an incident that occurred back on Christmas Eve of 2005. That day, every connected computer across the network crashed all at once. Not just that, but every communication network system and power grid system also suffered catastrophic crashes across the world. Making matters worse, the US nuclear defense systems also were affected by the crisis, which caused them to malfunction and become armed as if the US were under a nuclear attack threat. This whole crisis lasted only 77 minutes, and the cause was a virus created by Warren Brock, a 10-year-old kid living in LA. Computers running on the Ultimate OS, however, were the only systems not affected. This resulted in the Twilight of the New Gods, a 2-year period where the internet traffic and usage were bottlenecked and made available only to governmental and business use. Basically, a digital quarantine. Back in Dunlaurieg, Kite and Black Rose returned to the area where they fought Scathe. On the way, they realize the dungeon, while still corrupted, is empty of monsters. They wonder if Scathe actually survived and if they could win against it again. When they do get to the penultimate floor, despite Black Rose being consumed by anxiety, Kite strikes up a conversation. They both admit that they're afraid, and they both agree that they can't let it stop them. When they get to the bottom, they take another pause. After an amusing exchange of Kite accidentally scaring Black Rose, he asks her why she's playing the game, but before she can answer, Balmung appears and demands an explanation. Black Rose rebuffs him, but Kite admits that he already told him a few days ago. Even so, Balmung believes that the group's involvement only makes things worse. Black Rose hates him, but Kite empathizes with them. He leaves and the group tries to progress further, but the way is permanently blocked. Arriving back in Dunlaurieg, Kite's approached by a system admin who tells him that the prize he won from the power-up campaign is defective, and they exchange the Book of Law for the Book of Absolute. Kite tries to open the book and install it, and the same thing happens. A while later, Kite receives another flash mail from Aura. Apparently, even though she's been data drained and broken into segments, she's still very much alive, and she tells him to find her segments. He and Black Rose also both receive anonymous flash mails detailing possible information that could cure the coma victims. However, when they meet up at the requested area,
Hey! Hey, you! I got a suspicious email instructing me to come here. You get one too?
There's a clue to curing those who went into comas. That?
Yeah. Hold on a sec. That's weird. Look, I can't gate out. Oh! What was that sound?
Welcome. I am Leos, the system administrator of the world. You have ignored our warnings and have gone too far. If the two of you hadn't interfered, then the situation would not have deteriorated.
You not only did nothing about the coma victims, but you also tried to cover up that fact. What about your actions?
Viruses that were spread by hackers caused a series of problems. If you want to blame someone, blame them.
Are you saying that if I blame someone, those who are in comas will awake and return to normal? Then, okay, sure. I'll accuse them all you want. Kazu's still in the hospital. Bring him back! Bring him back to normal! Bring him back!
We are currently investigating the relationship between the world and those who fell comatose. We are not twiddling our thumbs, I assure you. We're working on countermeasures. But aside from that, to take immediate action to prevent the situation from worsening, it requires that you delete your character.
Delete it? Why?
You should know that your character violates the software usage agreement. Installation of an illegal effect. You do know what I'm referring to. I will delete you now.
Wait a moment.
Helba!
Leos, do you want to be one of the lost ones as well?
What?
I wonder what would happen if the boy performed data drain, right here and now.
No way, I wouldn't do that.
I know, since you aren't stupid. The stupid one is this pig-headed man. You don't even understand how it works, yet you'll delete it before finding that out. Or do you even possess the ability to delete it in the first place? The boy's character data is so well protected, the system administrator can't even crack it. In spite of the fact that you developed a vaccine and disguised it as a rare item. Deleting those you cannot control is something that a pighead would do.
Can I say something? I really don't care what happens to this character data.
Hold on! Wait, what do you mean that you don't?
It's true. Like I've said before. I simply want to help my friend. And that's all I want to do. Helba, system administrator, I need your advice. What should I do?
I'm sorry, little boy, but I don't have the answer to your question. And I'm positive that Pighead there doesn't either. Although, if the design of this world was based upon writings in the epitaph of Twilight, it should provide you a clue.
Forget it.
Leos.
Yeah, what?
The code name given to a system administrator. Were you remotely aware that it's the name of the King of Light that appears in the epitaph?
It is?
Silencing is not the only means of control. Why don't you observe them for a little while longer?
I won't take orders from you.
Orders? No, I'm only offering it as a suggestion. The net is spread throughout the world. If the problems escalate, can you accept responsibility? It's your decision.
The decision is put on hold. Later I'll tell you the outcome.
Later, eh? Till then.
Epitaph of Twilight.
We haven't got enough to go on so far. About the thing earlier. No, forget it. Well, so long for today.
Instead of silencing the assumed cause of the problem, Helba suggests that they continue observing Kite and his friends. If Kite isn't the culprit and Leos somehow gets rid of him and the situation worsens, can Leos accept responsibility? Quite the dilemma. One that Leos refuses to answer immediately and opts to respond at a later time. The next day, Leos sends him a flash mail stating that he begrudgingly agrees to liaise with Kite and his team, on the condition that they follow his orders. On top of that, the next server, the Lambda server, is now open and Kite should report there. Carmina Gadalica, same from Dothack Sign, the metropolis of the game. When Kite and Black Rose approach the weapons shop, Leos, having taken control of the shop clerk NPC, startles them and admonishes them for being late. His orders are for Kite and Black Rose to investigate the rate of infection on this server and gives Kite another virus core. Back on the forums, another thread is posted about a player claiming he's encountered a mysterious girl in a dungeon. There's another thread advertising a comedy show hosted by a player named Nuke Usagi Madu, and a thread posted by a player named Rachel hosting a trading convention. Logging in a few minutes later, Kite runs into Alchemia, the latter of whom is experiencing strange and unexplained speech issues. Kite tells him that he's going to the protected area posted on the forums, and Elk and Mia wish to go with them as Mia believes they'll find aromatic grass, their favorite item to collect. When they explore the dungeon, they don't find Aura, but another data bug instead. One data drain later, another virus core is obtained and a monster goes down. Elk also finds aromatic grass and gives it to Mia. This somehow restores Mia's speech. She then gives more cryptic and somewhat profound insight about futility when Kite wonders why they collect them. However, when they return to Root Town, her speech is corrupted once again. The next day, Black Rose and Kite see another post detailing information on another protected area. There are also a thread containing information about the epitaph of Twilight. We already know that it was an extremely popular web poem written by the famous web poet Emma Wieland. However, the website that hosted the poem was shut down before the poem was finished. Despite this, fragments of the epic managed to exist scattered across the network, including the stanzas Kite and Black Rose managed to find before. In fact, some of the recovered scraps get sold for incredible amounts of money by devoted fans. With Black Rose being elsewhere offline, Kite satiates his curiosity and attends the comedy show Nuke Usagi Maru is hosting. On his way, he runs into another mysterious player who doesn't say anything to him before leaving. However, just like Elk and Black Rose, this player looks almost just like Sora. Eventually, Kite reaches Nuke's show, the battle talk show where he narrates his technique while fighting a monster. It's not a successful showing, but you gotta love his enthusiasm regardless. Kite helps him defeat the monster, and the long-armed player gives him his member address as thanks. Not the best comedian, but he's still a genuinely entertaining guy, and he looks almost exactly like Krim. Next on the docket, Kite attends Rachel's trade convention, and Rachel asks Kite to help out by retrieving one of the requested items in the dungeon. He gets the item from the God statue and returns to help with the convention. With everyone satisfied, the convention is a success, and Rachel, looking almost exactly like a certain Blade Master character who forced Mikasa to babysit an infant Grunty, gives Kite her member address. Her stereotypical New York/New Jerseyan accent may be annoying at first, but she's a good player. Later on, Kite spends time with Gardenia. He knows that Gardenia likes to play in areas with flower-esque keywords and tries to inquire further, but she rebuffs him. Eventually, they arrive at the final room of monsters. When they kill them, Gardenia gives Kite the dropped item and expresses that the reason why she needed Kite's help is for revenge against the monsters that took her out previously. After the party disperses, Kite receives a surprise flash mail from Moonstone, the silent player whom Kite's ran into before. He gives him his member address and invites him to help in an area. He's a player with not much to say aside from what he needs to be said. The strong silent type, short, sweet, and to the point. He's awesome, and he's got a deep as hell voice. The goal of the area? Annihilate all monsters in the dungeon. Simple as that. They pose a challenge, but Kite's party makes it through. Satisfied, Moonstone leaves. A day later, Kite meets up with Black Rose and Mistrail, and the party gate hacks into the protected area posted on the forums. When they reach the deepest level of the dungeon, they find something strange, and I don't just mean a data bug. Normally, Kite is the only player able to access protected areas, yet somehow there's another player there. What's even weirder is that this player character looks really abnormal, as his body is covered in rectangular holes as if sections of his body were taken out. The player, Sheraton, doesn't seem to be too grateful about being saved either. In fact, his way of speaking is also really bizarre, as he asks if the player has the end. He then disappears when they are unable to comply. When Kite and Black Rose report to Leos, Leos believes it's just damaged data that are immune to area restrictions. Later on, Black Rose asks if obeying Leos is the right thing to do, and Kite just replies that they should follow along for now. Not like they have any other option, despite the feeling of being manipulated. A day later, before Kite logs in, Black Rose receives a virus core from Leos and passes it on to Kite. He forms a party with her and Elk and goes to a new protected area that Leos told him to investigate. According to Leos, this area is experiencing an abnormal increase in data volume. The last time this happened, they encountered something dangerous.
Oh
Because? It ran.
Are you a shadow or the real thing? Will you just make up your mind? It's as if the thing's playing tag with us, and now we're it.
Playing or not, I'll chase it.
Hey, you're not getting away!
The monster they fought before in the dungeon were just illusions. Now, it's the real deal. Kite, Black Rose, and Elk versus Innis, the Mirage of the Seat. It's a tough fight. Through a barrage of attacks from both sides, Kite eventually data drains the target and the party takes it down. This time around, unlike Scathe, Kite doesn't get a virus core. He gets one of Aura's broken segments instead. The fight ends, and yet it doesn't feel like a victory. Audio and visual static fills the area. Something's wrong. When the party returns to the root town, they see it's empty. They then report to Leos, who tells them that they were forced to shut down the game systems temporarily. Somehow defeating Innis caused more distortions. He orders them not to act until further notice and then leaves. Irritated, Black Rose sends a flashmail to Kite stating that she's decided to act without Leos' permission. I don't blame her. A few days later, Kite receives another corrupted flashmail from Aura, requesting his help in another area. She also delivers a warning to beware of Kubia. But what could that mean? Logging in the game, Kite runs into Mistrail at the Chaos Gate. When Kite tells her where she's going, she excitedly tags along. Kite invites Black Rose, and while preparing for the area, they see that the root town is strange. It isn't empty, but the player characters there are acting very bizarrely. They aren't moving and are saying very strange things. Perhaps the game isn't entirely back online yet. Regardless, the player goes to the area and they explore the dungeon. When they get to the deepest level,
wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
At any rate, this girl, she's beautiful, but I don't know how to say this, but she's not alive.
Black Rose and Mistrael versus Kubia. Yet, this fight isn't like the fights with Skaith and Innis. In fact, the party can't directly attack the monster. Instead, a floating sphere containing a figure that looks like Kite appears. Apparently, this is Kubia's weak point, the Kubia core, accompanied by a swarm of smaller enemies called Gamoras. What makes the matters even more different, it's impossible to data drain this new enemy, requiring a similar yet different method of attack while enduring the monster's barrage of gargantuan attacks. The party endures the marathon and eventually succeeds in destroying the Kubia core, and Kubia itself retreats. The party is then greeted by Helba, who saw the fight from afar. She gives the party their next course of action. Simply put, they must release Aura from her imprisonment, as that will possibly save Orca. When they return to town, Mistrael apologizes for her naivete and gives Kite a new book for Kite to use. Looks like the game is back online as well. Back on the forums, a player named Morlo rudely and obnoxiously calls out Kite and demands a meetup with him alone in an area. He also receives flash mails from Natsume stating that when they next meet, she'll be 10 times stronger, whatever that means. Sanjiro also asks Kite's help in finding a rare sword in another dungeon, and Piros asks for Kite in helping him get revenge against Mia for tricking him a few weeks ago. Oh boy. A few days later, Kite and Black Girls meet with Natsume in a dungeon. Apparently, there was a rumor on the forums about a special monster called the Level 10 Vine that, upon defeat, triggers her player's level to skyrocket by 10. Turns out that rumor was bogus, but Natsume still promises that she'll become stronger as she's learned that hard work will be worth it. She is best girl, and I will have no objections. Later on, Kite helps Sanjiro find the famous sword that he was looking for. When Kite goes to dungeon to meet Marlo later on, we see two players chastising Marlo for his callousness in his post. Who do they think they are, the Crimson Knights? Funnily enough, Marlo looks identical to Silver Knight. Marlo simply rebuffs him and proceeds into the dungeon. When Kite meets with him, Marlo is initially annoyed that Kite helps him with a monster, but then realizes Kite's the player he wanted to talk to. However, he forgets what he wanted to talk to Kite about and just gives him his member address instead. Well, that was interesting. Next on the docket, Kite accompanies Piros in confronting Mia, but when they find her, she teases him by stating that she doesn't immediately remember him. Mia thought the item was funny, but then apologizes when Piros expresses his displeasure. She then offers to give Piros another rare item that Piros claims to have heard of. Kite tries and fails to warn Piros, and Piros is once again humorously tricked, and his player character is altered again. But it'll be fine once he logs out and logs back in. Kite then asks why Mia targets Piros in the first place, but she doesn't really know. A few days later, more chatter pops up on the forums about the rumors concerning players falling into comas. Elsewhere, more conversation about the epitaph of Twilight. According to the thread, it's a story about how a group of people prevented the end of the world by destroying something known as the Cursed Wave. Considering what Helba told them before about the poem, Black Rose pursues the commenter on the forum thread. While they wait, Kite ventures to another dungeon and finds A20 from Dothack's sign. Notice the similarity between her and Natsume. She asks if Kite knows about the golden grunty item as she collects them. Unfortunately, she's unable to continue searching as she's too weak to do so on her own. When they get to the god statue, they run into Mimiru. What a pleasant surprise. Of course, Kite is taken aback by her resemblance to Black Rose. She made it out to the dungeon hoping that she'd meet up with Bear, but then gets a last-minute message from him saying that he's changed his location. Oh well, it's not a total loss as she gives Kite a replica of her sword. Black Rose is gonna love it. Kite then receives a flash mail from Linda from before, detailing that Balmung was following Orca's trail before he fell comatose, and that he's investigating another strange room that he and Orca had found.
When the finger points to the yonder moon, the fool will not look at the fingertip.
you again.
I'm not going to argue with you. However, I have to know. Tell me what this thing that lurks within the world is.
It doesn't concern you.
Yes, it does. Ballmonk of the Azure Sky, Orca of the Azure Sea, aren't your goals the same? Isn't there a connection between the girl Aura and this disaster?
I don't want you to meddle any further. I'm telling you, do not get involved.
Yeah, too late for that. Upon logging out, Kite and Black Rose both received new orders from the annoyed Leos, instructing them not to act. Yeah, whatever. Black Rose forwards to Kite a much more helpful flashmail she had received from the player who posted about the epitaph on the forums. Even though the player doesn't know more than what he said already, he suggests finding the player known as Wiseman, an information broker and voiced by the awesome Stephen Bloom. He may know more. They meet up with him in the dungeon, and Kite requests to learn what Wiseman knows about the epitaph. The shrewd negotiator that he is, while looking like a gender-swapped BT, states the price for the information by flashmail, to receive the rare Spark Sword from another dungeon. Easy enough, except for the fact that the area is protected, and that the monster that drops the Spark Sword just so happens to be a data bug. On their way back, they notice Ballmonk talking quietly to Leos. He instructs Ballmonk to give something to someone. When they return, Wiseman receives the item and honors his promise. But he also asks just who they are, as the area was protected. He knew this and is intrigued by the party's ability to access it. Understanding, Kite explains the situation, and Wiseman is grateful and even more interested. He gives them his member address and sends them the info on the Epitaph of Twilight, while also giving back the Spark Sword. I'm not complaining, especially when Wiseman's info is a large stanza from the Epitaph itself. According to the poem, the Cursed Wave isn't a literal wave, but a malevolent phenomenon composed of 8 evil entities: Skaith, Innis, Magus, Fidel, Gore, Maha, Tarvos, and finally Korbenik. They appeared one after the other in the poem, each of them contributing to the world's end in their own ways, related to their moniker. Skaith was the first, as it destroyed everything and everyone that crossed its path. Innis used its ability to create illusions to assist in the destruction. The third one, Magus, used its ability to duplicate the wave, further adding to the destruction. At this point, the party has defeated Skaith and Innis. Seems that Magus may be next. Wiseman also recommends that the players reach out to Helba in Netslum. Yes, that Netslum. Though Helba is the master of the place, she isn't willing to create a Helba gate to access it like before. Instead, they're given directions in the form of a riddle. Back on the forums, another player posts a thread about having found a strange character similar to Sheraton. The strange thing is, this is the first corrupted area that they can enter without gate hacking. The situation's deteriorating. When they get through the dungeon, they do find the strange character in question, just like Sheraton from before. This one looks like a regular player character, but parts of its body are sectioned out. The character, Playard, keeps asking strange and incoherent questions, yet they're able to extract some useful information from its rambling. An area related to Netslum. Unfortunately, they aren't able to get any more information, as Leo suddenly appears from behind and cruelly deletes the character, dismissing it as digital garbage. He threatens the party with deletion if they don't obey his orders and stay put before leaving himself. Back in Carmina Gadalika, they run into Balmung, who's been waiting for them. He begrudgingly and coldly gives Kite a virus core. Regardless of the reason, they have a new virus core and a definite lead to Netslum. Kite, Black Rose, and Mistral gate hack into the corrupted area Playard mentioned, thinking that it's a type of access code. Black Rose speaks the phrase they were sent via flashmail to no success. She tries again upon entering the dungeon, again with no success. Frustrated, she leaves it to Kite. At first, it does seem confusing, but the solution is as obvious as the text itself. Just go in the directions the words dictate. They make it through the maze and make it through the dungeon. Eventually, they reach another white room with only a torii, a Shinto shrine gate arc. Moments later, they teleport somewhere else and arrive in a new area that looks like a completely run-down and dilapidated town. The ground is covered in trash and scrap metal, scattered streetlights, some barely functioning, dirty buildings covered in strange text and graphics, and some destroyed parts of buildings floating listlessly in the sky while the whole area is bathed in a permanent sunset. But Kite and his party aren't the only occupants here. The denizens are some of the strangest characters they've encountered thus far. A short figure with a small CRT TV with a digital face for a head sits in a fetal position. Two characters stand with their arms crossed while wearing tattered striped clothes and have simple emojis as heads. A two-dimensional character in the form of a Japanese zombie, a tall humanoid robot with one leg supporting itself with a pipe as a makeshift cane, and more characters similar to Player and Sheraton. This is a very bizarre place. This is Netzlum. Though, to the citizens, this place is their paradise. Interestingly enough, the names of all the denizens are names from the characters in the epitaph. The party searches through the town and tries to consult the people about Helba.
Are you looking for Helba?
Yes.
It so happens I briefly heard from her recently. The epitaph of Twilight. To sum it up in a nutshell, it is a tale. Or to elaborate further, it is a saga that recounts how the Age of the Spirits came to an end.
The tale of an end?
Indeed. However, the texts are scattered. Even if found, they are extremely difficult to comprehend. Yes, it'll be a very tricky business.
Say, there's something that's been bothering me. The people around here, they all look so different from anybody I've seen anywhere else.
This place was once where all of the unsuccessful non-player characters drifted. Sort of a sanctuary for failures. Then, players who considered them amusing came up with their own variations of failed characters. Now, the boundary between player and non-player characters is quite indistinct. Some of them simply don't know which category they fall into. There are maybe even those who have lost their bodies on the outside. Mere memories, faded reminders of the individuals they once were. Only their character data remains intact and active as they wander the network. Yes, the same fate as Harold.
Harold?
I must speak with Morgana to go where she is. The living flesh poses a hindrance, but I must go. For our aura. Emma, please give me a little more courage.
Helba!
They're the words of the creator of this world, Harold Hewick. Well, you wanted to see me? Epitaph of Twilight. Both of you have succeeded in reaching it as well, I see. Oh, look! We have an unusual and unexpected guest. As a representative of Netzlum, I greet you. Welcome to paradise.
Huh? Ball monk.
You sided with Leos, I see. You cracked easily for someone who was so sure of himself.
Don't judge, I'm not like you!
Stalking the boy is shameful behavior. You've disgraced the name of the descendant of Fianna.
What? Ballmonk? You used us?
It was necessary. To restore order.
Order? There's an order that the world desires, and then there's the order that you desire. Which form should it take, Ballmonk?
The order that I desire, of course.
Our featured performer. Now all the actors have assembled.
Quit your yapping, woman. You are entities that unquestionably pose a grave threat to this world. I'll delete you all! What did you do?
I haven't done anything. This is her doing. It would appear that she doesn't care for us very much.
Her?
Yes. In other words, this world itself.
A leaf?
Kite, Black Rose, and Mistrail versus Magus, the Propagation. It's a tough fight, especially when it comes to avoiding Magus's numerous explosive leaves. If they don't destroy them all and let them go off instead, it would kill the whole party instantly. Eventually, Kite succeeds in data draining it, and the party succeeds in destroying it completely. 3 down, 5 more to go.
It's falling apart!
Let's go. We'll head back to town.
What the hell happened? You're kidding me, right?
Maybe this was a turning point. The relationship between me and the game, the world, has gone beyond pure amusement. And it was spreading beyond the network.
It's only been 2 months since all of this started, and they've been through so much. But now what? What do they do now?
Salvation or destruction at the whim of the user. It's coming.
The entirety of the world is currently in a new state of corruption, and over the next few days, similar issues have spread to the outside world. Transportation systems, power grids, and communication systems all suffer issues, causing traffic accidents, fires, and difficulties in terms of landline and cellular communication. Thankfully, the internet connection is fine for the most part. Aside from CC Corp trying to use Helba as a scapegoat for the escalating situation in news reports, they've also updated the world to version 3.02. This version includes the new ability to search while riding a grunty in an area.
Oh, it's you. There aren't many people here today. I get it now. It's because there's a festival.
Festival?
The barriers have been lifted. They're all gone. We can go back and forth freely now. Isn't that wonderful?
Mia?
Don't touch me! Tell me, do you happen to know where Elk is? Did I leave him behind again? Where is he?
What's the matter, Mia? You're acting peculiar.
Later on, CC Corp sends out a flash mail to all players lying about the situation and blaming Helba. At the same time, forum threads of players encountering monsters that they can't kill. Data bugs are beginning to spread more throughout the game. Not only that, but virus cores are now falling into the hands of regular players. In the midst of this, Kite also receives a flash mail from Mistrail asking him to meet her in Makanu. When he does, she confesses that she's pregnant. Unfortunately, this is the last we'll see of her until near the end.
Hey, I just sent an email to you. Did you get it?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't really anything important.
Hey. I don't know anymore if what we're doing is the right thing.
Are you kidding? It's sort of late to change your mind now.
Yeah, but...
You know, you can tell me. I'm here to listen, so spit it out.
every time we jump into action, something awful happens. That is the truth. Beaumonk may be right.
There's no way to tell if it's bad or good.
But...
Will you cut it out? This is stupid and it's really pissing me off. Stop and think about why we risk our lives to do all these terrifying, dangerous things in the first place. Whining over this situation isn't going to help.
Later on, the Sigma server opens up, and we enter the aerial city of Fort Oath. Unfortunately, like the other root towns, it too is corrupted. With Black Rose currently offline, cooling off after their argument, and Mistral indefinitely offline, Kite enters a new protected area by himself. According to the forums, there's supposedly another strange room that Orca had investigated. Upon entering the dungeon, more text from Harold's notes can be heard, and true to what the forums have said, virus cores can be found. Extracted from an element called the virus crystals, showcasing how the deteriorating situation of the game is causing corrupted data to manifest in the game space. Eventually, Kite runs into Beaumonk, fighting a data bug by himself.
Run! Beaumonk!
No. It's faster. I can't outrun it.
Are you nuts fighting it alone?
I couldn't very well ignore the thing. So, why did you help me? I scorned you when you both fought bravely. I am guilty of resorting to more cowardly means.
You ask, why did I help you, but why shouldn't I?
Yes, of course. I seem to have lost myself in hatred for the power of that bracelet. The power itself isn't good or evil. There are only evil intentions. It appears that I am the one who may have been selfish.
A great force. The power it holds can bring forth either salvation or destruction, at the whim of the user.
What's that?
The girl, Aura. That's what she said when she gave me the bracelet.
I see. You are indeed the one who should wear the bracelet. I'm sorry for what I've said and done. I apologize.
Beaumonk.
I want to restore this world. And like you, I want to help Orca as well. However, it's not something I can accomplish alone. Perhaps you could lend me a hand. I am being selfish. Go right ahead and laugh.
I wouldn't laugh because I happen to have a request too. Care to hear it? I want two things. To help Orca and to play in the world that's not corrupted. But it's really not something I can accomplish alone. Could you lend me a hand?
Of course. The reason Orca and I were investigating the rumor was not because we wanted to find the source, but to prove that the rumor was indeed only that, a rumor. However, one day we discovered a strange room. It was obviously an unusual and a bizarre alien place. Then Orca said, "Morgana, mode gone."
Morgana, mode gone.
He said he would explain later, and then I lost contact with him.
The whole cannot be changed. We have already lost that chance. Because the time left to us was short, we were mistaken in our path. But now do we realize we should change not the whole, but the parts.
Morgana, mode gone. We finally have a name for the ultimate enemy that manipulated and abused Tsukasa and Aura's mother, who ordered her to be hunted down and executed. Later on, Kite receives a flashmail from Black Rose, asking him to meet at the cathedral.
Do you want to know something? My brother fell unconscious here.
Oh.
I didn't tell you because I couldn't find the right time. Sorry. When I first met you, I forced you to come here, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to see what had happened here with my own eyes, yet I was too frightened to come here by myself. And I still feel that way. I'm very, very scared. But I wouldn't have gotten this far without you. So, what am I going to do if you start doubting yourself? How am I supposed to cope? Does a big sister have to be happy? I want to.
Black Rose. Please don't cry.
What do you mean? I'm not crying. You can't even see me, so don't make any assumptions. There you go, how typical. You always clam up when you should be talking.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was wrong in thinking that I'm the only one who's trying to do something about Orca and the disaster. Everybody wants to do something. Now I know. I'm not the only one. We all want to bring this whole horrible mess to an end.
Yeah.
What can we do about the situation now? It's simple. We've got to do what we think is right. That's the only way we'll move forward.
Yep. Let's do it together. Things will work out. My intuition is pretty good. Well, I'm off to go see my brother.
At the hospital?
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Thank you. To you, too.
They've reconciled and the whole team is getting stronger. Back on the forums, more chatter about Harold Herwick and Fragment. Apparently Harold was an avid fan of the poem, which explains why he used it for the backstory of the world and its beta version. There's also a post from a new player named Terijima Ryoko, humbly requesting help. And she's starting in the Sigma server. Not the best option, but she is new. Kite also gets blown up with new flash mails from his friends. Until now, they were all MIA, and now they have finally decided to crop up again. though they can't really be blamed considering what happened after Magus went down and how the corruption is now spreading beyond the game. It's difficult to log in for some. Later on, Kite meets up with Wiseman. They discuss what they've learned about the Epitaph of Twilight and how it seems to relate to the string of events that have transpired up to now. It's already established that they have 5 more phases to go. However, there's still Kubia, described as the hidden one in the Epitaph with a still unknown role to play. On top of that, there's the ultimate question of what Harold's ultimate goal was when he created the game. Wiseman then gives Kite another virus core before departing. He then sends Kite a flash mail, pitching an idea to use a type of program to locate the next phase and advises to meet in Net Slum to discuss further. Before that, Kite meets up with Terejima Ryoko, a heavy axeman who looks almost exactly like Subaru. She's also delightfully polite. It's almost sickening. She managed to make it to the bottom of the dungeon despite her low level by sneaking past the magic portal somehow. Kite escorts her back to Fort Oath, and she gives Kite her member address as thanks. Next on the docket, Kite spends time with Gardenia while making Kite mistakenly assume she's dying. She's a tough nut to crack, but Kite's growing on her. He then helps Marlo get revenge on a monster that killed him a while back after his friends deserted him. Next, he helps Sanjuro win an event hosted by CC Corp for all samurai-themed heavyweight players. Lastly, Kite adventures with Terejima Ryoko in an area that she wanted to explore. Unfortunately, the girl still doesn't have a good grasp on the game, nor is she aware of the current situation, as the area she wants to explore is still extremely high level for her. She's level 1, and happens to be heavily affected by the instability of the game, and has a higher population of data bugs appearing in the field and the dungeon. When they get to the end of the dungeon,
An enemy! Let's get him!
No, wait! Don't rush in so recklessly! Are you alright?
I'm sorry. I was out of line and I attacked carelessly. I'm completely useless. I mess things up every single time without fail. Even in a game, I cause trouble for other people. I can't apologize enough. Please, forgive me.
If that's truly how you feel, then all you have to do is change. I'm sure you can do it. Everybody, including me, likes you a lot.
Thank you so very much.
oh boy. A while later, Kite receives a message from Halba asking him to come alone while also getting rid of Databug that happened to wander in the Net Slum. Upon reaching the dungeon of the requested area, he defeats the Databug on his own. Halba then appears and reveals that this was a test. If the coming operation were to be successful, then Kite's resolve needs to be solid as it depends on him. Later on, Wiseman notifies Kite that the operation is a go, and the data volume in another area is increasing, while Aura reaches out to Kite, telling him that the next phase, Feed Hell, has one of her segments that he needs to get back. Kite, Black Rose, and Wiseman gate hack into the corrupted area, and Halba establishes an audio and visual connection on her end. Considering the group is running this operation without Leos' awareness, they need to be quick. and eventually they make it to the end. Kite, Black Rose, and Wiseman versus Fidel the Prophet. And this one talks.
Launching program. Audio and visual communication from this end will now cease functioning. White noise on the screen will signal the start of battle. Good luck.
Ready!
Enduring the flurry of elemental prophecy attacks, the group eventually succeeds in data draining and destroying the enemy. However, the entity leaves with a foreboding parting gift.
Like a frenzied horse that is driven, an unseen wind of plague shrieks across the border. Pandemonium, wailing, and the stench of carnage fills the air. There's no place to run, no hope of escape. Those who are mourned will never return. The hands of time cannot be turned back.
Oh man, what was that? What does it mean?
Sorry, I don't have a clue. But I think this is bad. Nothing changed, right? So, did we pull it off?
I hope so.
Returning to Fort Oath, it looks like nothing has changed. However, news reports come out about telecommunication systems suddenly going down. The same goes for the systems of financial sectors, causing currency losses up to 3 million. Transportation systems also suffer malfunctions, causing abnormal traffic stops and accidents. Similar to what happened during Plato's Kiss incident, we're now entering a second network crisis.
I brought you some aromatic grass.
Wow, thanks. So much? This must have taken a long time.
It isn't that much. And by the way, I haven't seen you for a while. Were you busy?
I don't remember. My memory these days is fuzzy.
It sounds like you're just tired. I would rest if I were you. Oh! Hi!
Hi.
So, who are you?
Huh?
Mia?
I'm not myself. I'm done today.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Later.
Wow, Mia seems to be exhausted. She's gotten to the point where she's beginning to lose her memory.
I'm worried, Elk.
Don't tire yourself out either. I'm gonna log off too.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye-bye.
A few days later, Kite meets up with Balmung and reports to Leos. Balmung scolds Leos for being manipulated by Leos before. Leos defends himself to both of them by claiming they followed his own orders of their own volition. With Black Rose ignoring Leos, understandably, he accompanies the group to the area. Eventually, they find the data bug in the dungeon and eradicate it. Leos then mentions that the game's rate of corruption is causing more data bugs to manifest. More information we've already known. However, Leos also mentions that if the world were to reach a fatal point of no return and become completely corrupted, then CC Corp would feel like they'd have no other choice but to shut down the game completely as an attempt to prevent further fallout. Not only would that not solve the crisis, but more importantly, any chances of restoring the coma victims will be completely eradicated. So the situation is getting worse, but there isn't much to do right now. Besides, upon returning to Root Town, Pyros drags Kite to another area involved in a rumor detailing the bestowal of rare items on the player upon reciting a series of secret words. They make it through the dungeon. Pyros recites the unintelligible words. Kite gets a cache of strange items and gives them to Pyros, and he gets hit with the entire suite of status conditions. Pyros, I swear to God. Upon logging out, Kite receives a flash mail from Aura, while Black Rose receives a flash mail from Balmung requesting to talk. They all meet up. Balmung sincerely apologizes for his past actions. Kite then receives another message from Aura, begging him to meet in an area.
Damaged data?
What's this?
I think she wants to say something.
What is it? Something like that exists?
It's that thing again!
It's big. Too big. Can we defeat it?
It's growing.
Kite, Black Rose, and Balmung versus Kubia. Round 2. Another tough fight, but eventually Kubia is forced into retreat yet again. After witnessing their triumph, Leo silently leaves. Black Rose theorizes that Kubia is trying to stop Kite from seeing Aura, yet she can't understand why he keeps fleeing after he gets injured. With that being the case, what would happen should Kite successfully restore Aura? Is Kubia trying to stop that? Regardless, Kite realizes that, like him, Kubia is growing in strength. Its increased size represents this. He then states that they can't keep operating as scattered as they are. They need Leos' help. His ability to provide backup support from inside CC Corp can be vital. Of course, the other main issue isn't whether or not he's willing to work with Kite and his team, but whether he's willing to work with Helba. Then Black Rose gets an idea. She'll summon them both, and Kite will handle the rest. While Black Rose works her magic, news reports come out about power outages and security system failures in several locations, and a devastating fire has torn through a major business complex, including a movie theater, and injuring several people. A while later, Rachel announces a courier service on the forums, and more importantly, Black Rose brazenly and cleverly leaves a forum post requesting to meet Helba and Netslum. Kite logs back in and helps Rachel with the courier service. The plan hits a small snag, but they get the job done. Though Rachel learns that the client was being dishonest, so she chases after him. Next up, Kite adventures with Moonstone, and Kite helps him find a rare weapon, sharing a part of his namesake. Later on, Kite meets with Black Rose, skeptical that Leos will fall for the bait, but Black Rose is fully confident that the plan will work, so they head to Netslum.
Are you two planning to contact Helba? Well, I don't know what you're both up to, but I'm afraid I deleted that post. It's no more. The truth is, she won't be coming here, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah?
The hackers, they're having a good laugh. They find the current affairs to be quite amusing. What do you intend to do with them? I'm curious to know. Tell me.
Why do you say things like that? Because it's the company's policy?
What?
Leos, you should know by now that the problems are unrelated to Helba.
What do you know? Do you think you're a hero now because of that bracelet? Don't make me laugh. So wear that thing if you want. I will restore the system without the help of that abominable item.
Leos, that's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to tell you that if we want the same results, we should work together.
I do not work with hackers.
You pighead. It makes me want to bust your brains out if you have any.
If he wasn't so thick-skulled, I'd have done it already.
Helba, how'd you...
A deleted post is meaningful, fraught with significance. Did you actually think I would pass up something that juicy? Deleting messages with clues that point toward the truth? Shameful. Even a pighead like you is aware of the present situation, right?
Just because I'm silent doesn't mean you have permission to call me a pighead.
Fair enough, but first prove to me that you aren't a pighead.
What?
The players who fell into comas during the game continue to suffer. What we ought to be doing right now...
All right. If it will stop your insistent demand, I will do it on one condition. You can prove to me how serious you are by obtaining a virus core from the lowest level of the dungeon. The Dungeon of Sigma, Sorrowful Sweltering Arena.
That's not a problem.
But you cannot use data drain. Only under that condition will I join forces with Helba.
Don't be ridiculous. What are we supposed to do if a data bug suddenly shows up?
Understood. I agree.
Huh? Are you kidding? Understood? What are you saying?
If I do it, you'll work with Helba?
Only if you fulfill the condition.
It's nearly impossible to soften that pighead. I want you to show him that you're serious.
Okay, this is getting totally out of hand.
Well, that was interesting. The meeting didn't go as planned, but we need Leos' cooperation, so they go. Initially, it's so far so good, no data bugs in the field. Unfortunately, they run into one in the dungeon. They charge in regardless. However, they quickly realize that, unlike other data bugs, this one's health is actually decreasing? How? It's a long battle, but eventually they take down the monster. With Leos watching, he asks Kite why he didn't use data drain. Black Rose is annoyed by this stupid question, but Kite reveals that Leos saw them fight Kubia. Thus, he's already aware of their resolve. Although Leos denies this, and reveals that the so-called data bug was a counterfeit, he created to test their trustworthiness. Helba then appears, and Leos upholds his end of the bargain, though he hates the pain of losing the bet. To add insult to injury, Helba shares that due to CC Corp receiving too much bad publicity, they had decided to attempt to save their own collective asses in terms of their bottom line and their public face by physically destroying the game servers, meaning complete destruction of the game, thus shutting down any chances of rectifying the crisis and saving the coma victims. All of this they already know, but now they have Leos recruited, so now they can gain some momentum. But it's also a race against time and stupidity. There's a major part in the Epitaph of Twilight where Helba, Queen of the Kingdom of Darkness, rallies her army alongside Apeiron, the King of Leos, the Kingdom of Light, and his army, like in the game. Wiseman commends Kite for his success and believes that they'll now be able to discover the truth of the cursed wave.
Wave soars and shrouds the eyes. No means to fight an omnipresent force. The shadowless ones just grieve. Why must it be a wave? Divide if it would just, then retaliate we may.
Harold.
A few days later, Wiseman then notifies Kite and Black Rose and advises them to meet in Netslum to talk about a revision of the original plan. When they arrive, Helba assigns roles to everyone. Leos will continue to search for the remaining phases of the cursed wave while keeping tabs on what CZ Corp is doing. Wiseman will analyze the data they gather concerning the epitaph and the cursed wave, and Kite will lead the front lines against the phases they encounter. The operation itself consists of sealing off the area from the rest of the game that the phase is in, thus mitigating the potential damage to the game and beyond. While the others prepare and search for the next phase, there's one more thing to do. Back on the forums, players have mentioned seeing a strange red wand in an area that's unorthodoxly high for the server it's in. Upon investigating the area,
That's... Skaith's wand?
Bingo!
Huh? Thank you?
for those who aren't in the know, that was Sora, a major character present in the world a year ago during Dothack's sign. An extremely skilled and dangerous player killer who was a 9-year-old boy in the real world. He basically played the role of an anti-hero. His actions and motives were solely his own up to the end. Sometimes he helped the protagonist, sometimes he helped the antagonist, as long as it benefited him. Unfortunately, near the end, he sided with Morgana, but then chose to betray her and aid Tsukasa at the last minute. This resulted in Morgana summoning Skaith, who proceeded to data drain Sora. He fell into a coma in the real world, and part of his consciousness was attached to Skaith, while Skaith attached itself to Sora's player character. This will be extremely vital in the future. After Kite defeated Skaith, though still comatose, Sora's consciousness was released from Skaith. A while later, Wiseman sent a flash mail to Black Rose and Kite. The data volume is increasing in a new area, meaning it's time to rendezvous in Netslum. With everyone's roles assigned, Kite rallies everyone together. Operation Breakwater. They reach the dungeon and Helba seals off the area. Kite, Black Rose, and Balmung of the Azure Sky versus Gore, the Machinator.
The area Sigma, chatting snaring twins, is now quarantined. Communication will be offline.
Ready!
Just who designs these freaky things anyway?
You know, they really do. Yes, well, shall we do it then?
All appears to have gone well. An investigation will still be needed, but I guess you've succeeded for now.
Let us rejoice at our triumph.
Kazu. Hold on, we're nearly there.
Theta server. Detecting fluctuation of massive data. The immensity. There's a possibility that it's the cursed wave itself. It's moving.
It's running. This marks the beginning of the counterattack.
Counterattack? No. We have just realized the true rule of the game Harold created.
The cursed wave is moving, but they're now one step closer to the truth.
I will delete you now.
Because I have finally been released.
Excuse me! You, yes you.
I can't just let you guys handle it alone.
Run! I won't! There's no reason to do that!
Draw your sword, now!
That's not me!
Explain my ass! You don't know anything!
The barriers have been lifted. They're all gone. We can go back to Harold. Isn't that wonderful?
It's been a few weeks since Gory went down to Operation Breakwater. During that time, the world has been updated to version 3.65. It now supports compatibility with a new type of controller called the Neuro Gloves, unimportant, and it's now hosting an item completion event, annoying. In the news, with the second network crisis having begun in earnest, the whole world is suffering in almost every sector. In response, the World Network Council, a fictional extension of the UN designated to pass laws related to cybercrime, network terrorism, etc., and the US President have requested all countries to pause non-critical online transactions. At the same time, Ultimate OS also loses credibility as the world's most secure computer operating system. There's even one news article that completely is corrupted. Meanwhile, Aura reaches out to Kite, thanking him for all his efforts and that she needs his help a little more. Leos also notifies Kite to meet up in Leah Fall, the root town of the newly opened Omega server.
Too dangerous here. We're warping.
Helba? Warp?
Welcome to paradise.
Due to the escalating corruption damaging the root town, Helba evacuates everyone to Netslum, where she's changed it into a makeshift server. They're safe here for now. As they begin their debriefing, they surmise that Morgana, the cursed wave, is still on the move, and they need to ascertain its next location so that they can close it off and destroy it. Similar to the hunting patterns of orca whale pods, according to Kite. In order to act this out, Helba is in the process of creating a vaccine program that they can use to isolate it. In order to make sure the plan goes well, Leo tasks Kite, Black Rose, and Balmung to analyze the current level of data corruption. They perform their mission by entering the designated area and destroying the data bug they find. With their mission complete, they log out for the night. However, a few days later, news reported that the hospital Orca is currently staying in is affected by a temporary electrical failure. Thankfully, there are no casualties, but it does add to the stress. Kite logs in and meets with Black Rose to talk about what's happened when they're approached by Spiritus, one of the citizens of Netslum. He tells them about another mysterious room in an area.
Over the Keel Mountains meets an ape with human speech. The ape asks, "What clings to you? Bear it, you cannot. Accept it, you cannot. But hidden it is from you. Recite its name."
When they arrive back in Root Town, they run into Elk, who still can't find Mia. Black Rose recruits them to their overall mission, as this may help him find her. During the downtime, Kite helps Pyros deal with a small business issue with another player. A day later, Wiseman summons the group to Netslum. He debriefs him on the next phase of the plan. The cursed wave likes to move to certain locations, so Leos and his team are going to use Helba's program to force it into an area where Kite and Black Rose can ambush it. Everyone takes their stations, and Kite, Black Rose, and Wiseman head to protect the area that they're herding the next wave into. Commence Operation Breakwater. However, something's wrong. They make it to the end of the dungeon only to find nothing. Somehow, the movement of the cursed wave unexpectedly changes and then completely disappears, only for it to reappear in another area. When they get there, Mia's enigma is finally revealed.
Who am I?
You're Mia, of course.
I have no memory.
Huh?
It's true. I only exist in the world. The only memory I have is when I am in the world. No! Stop it!
Mia!
I want to stay as me! Stay back! Don't look at me! I'm sorry.
Kite, Black Rose, and Wiseman versus Maha, the Temptress. Mia was an AI and part of the cursed wave the entire time. It's another tough fight, a large part of it consisting of Maha trying to force the players against each other, but eventually they bring it down. But it's a painful and Pyrrhic victory.
Mia.
Wrapped. All wrapped. All wrapped. Mia! What have you done to Mia?
Oh, Elk. Thank you.
The data that vanished has returned. We're resuming the operation. Go back to Omega. Cruel, vindictive scars.
Elk. Mia is...
Just leave me alone!
Elk, I'm so sorry. The group doubles back to the previous area, but when they get there, Leos tries to abort the operation as somehow the cursed wave managed to consume a piece of the vaccine program and built an immunity against it. As a result, Leo's team operating the program fall comatose.
What is going on? The momentum of the wave stopped. We can do it.
No, you must run. You can't fight Kubia.
Yeah, I don't think they have a choice, Aura. Sorry. Kite, Black Rose, and Balmung of the Azure Sky versus Kubia, round 3. Apparently, in terms of data volume, Kubia can be misinterpreted as the cursed wave. This is a long one. Kubia's new strength has resulted in multiple Kubia cores, each one more resilient than the last. But eventually, they take down the last core and Kubia retreats. With it gone for now, the group returns to Root Town to determine the wave's next location, but with Leo's team hospitalized, how will they control its movement? That's when Helba and all of Kite's friends show up, including Mistrael, yet Elk isn't among them. They weren't just Kite's and Black Rose's friends, they were also aware of the situation, and now they're all ready to help with Helba's improved the vaccine, and they continued the operation. Now they're back in control. They force the next wave into the area they specify. Kite, Black Rose, and Mistral versus Tarvos, the Avenger. Much to the name, the phase's attacks are brutal, one of them being a one-hit kill, but eventually they data drain and defeated. One more phase left, but there's still Kubia. When they return to Root Town, they're greeted by all of the citizens of Netslum congratulating them on their success. Upon logging out, Kite receives another flash mail from Aura. Though still corrupted and cryptic, she hints at a strange connection between Kubia and the Twilight Bracelet and that he shouldn't fight Kubia. He and Black Rose also receives a flash mail from Tatarga stating that he spoke with an AI named Harold recently. It's winter now, and the holiday season is approaching. During the downtime, Kite helps Rachel in her newest business venture, this time a rescue service. Things didn't go as planned, but they got money for the service. Next on the docket, Marlowe leads Kite to a dungeon that has a large amount of helpful items that he offers to Kite. He normally is a cold and abrasive player, but playing with Kite has begun to reveal his soft side. How nice. Later on, Kite explores another area and runs into Krim. He begins talking about Subaru and alludes to how she doesn't play anymore. Then he gives Kite a replica of his spear. Kite then also gathers virus cores from the data bugs in various areas revealed by the Netslum citizens on the forums. During this time, he encounters more of the Guardians as well, Morgana's personal servants from Dothack's sign. Thankfully, they can't use data drain this time, but they're still dangerous as they can use every physical and magic attack in the game. Later on, Kite is coincidentally invited to an area by both Terejima Ryoko and Black Rose simultaneously. When they get to the area, we see a slight rivalry develop between the two. Oh boy. When they get to the bottom of the dungeon, their rivalry escalates, making Kite feel stuck in the middle, getting pulled in two opposite directions. Until...
This time we're going right!
No, we should go left.
Hey you! Cut that out! Right is the way to go!
What? I won't take this anymore. Tell me why. Why are you coming with us to this dungeon in the first place?
Because I'm the one who invited him.
Oh, is that true?
So?
I was invited by both of you.
Oh, I see.
That's what it was.
Sorry. Do you think that I should have just chosen one?
Who knows? I think that you are the only one who can answer that question for yourself.
How true. I agree. I think that Black Rose has it exactly right, in my opinion.
Whatever. I really don't care about it anymore.
Maybe we should just go back.
Well, I'm going to the right.
And I'm going to the left.
Hey.
The poor guy is left alone. Kite reaches the god statue and leaves the dungeon. Side note, the player gets to choose which direction to take, but taking the path that Terejima Ryoko took is the only way to get Subaru's axe. While the girls reconcile the differences elsewhere, Kite helps Moonstone meet with another player, and he gives her a weapon that she's been searching for. In exchange, Moonstone gets her member address. He has a crush. How cute. And Kite gets, in my opinion, the best twin blade weapon in the game. The next day, Black Rose and Mistral meet up with Kite in Mount Anu, and they go to the area Tatarga told them. It's about time they meet Harold, and little do they know, this is going to be the beginning of one long Christmas Eve night. Kite uses all the virus cores he's collected with the help of the Netslum citizens, and they gate hack into the area. Not only is the dungeon absurdly long for the server it's on, but it's also almost completely full of data bugs. Eventually, they reach the end, and they enter the creator's room. Finally, they meet the AI of Harold Hewick.
Who goes there? Who are you?
This is Harold?
My name is Harold.
What? Hey, you're nothing but a piece of rock! You're responsible for the cursed wave, aren't you? Alright then, fix this thing!
No. The passage of time is irreversible. Birth or death. Now only these two choices remain.
What? What are you saying?
Aura, the child of light, Emma's daughter, my daughter, just a little more.
It's no use. This guy is totally gone.
Aura, I have something I want to ask you. You said that I shouldn't fight Kubia, but why?
Kubia is a shadow. When there is light burning in the darkness, a shadow is born. When the bracelet appeared in this world, Kubia was born as well. The bracelet and Kubia are the opposite sides of the same coin. Therefore, if you defeat Kubia, the bracelet will be destroyed.
Kubia must have already known that, and that's why it kept running away.
Kubia will no longer run away, because I have finally been released.
What do you mean?
Massive data believed to be the wave is heading in your direction. That's the last one. Destroy it!
Traveler, take this to heart. It is darkest before the dawn.
Run away! It is not too late!
We'll defeat it and end this!
No, it's not. That is...
Kite, Black Rose, and Mistral versus Kubia. And this is the final round. They aren't fighting on a floating platform this time. At this point, Kubi has grown so large in response to Kite's power that the group is fighting on his roots. As they reach closer to Kubia's body, they fight through the highest amount of Kubia cores and Gamoras they've seen thus far. Eventually, they make it to Kubia's heart. Aura was right. This time, it isn't running away, and neither are they. It's a long and arduous fight with Kubia bombarding the party with new and more powerful attacks, but soon, they succeed in taking Kubia down, or so they think.
Do you think we can really defeat it?
Black Rose! Strike my bracelet!
You want me to do what? Hey, what the hell are you saying?
If they're two sides of the same coin, then this would settle it.
But the bracelet, it's...
Forget about the bracelet. We're in danger. If you can't do it...
Oh, all right. Fine, I'll do it. I'll do it, so shut up! Ah!
Yeah!
The Twilight Bracelet is destroyed. The trump card is gone. Morgana Mode Gone still exists, and Aura is still in danger. Now what do? Helba calls a meeting in Root Town, and they converse about what to do. Wiseman cites the epitaph of Twilight, but Kite doesn't believe that it's truly the end, even if their current predicament is similar to the events of the poem. That said, Kite decides to continue with Operation Orca. It's a long shot, but it just may be their only chance. A leap of faith. One final assault against a cursed wave. Against Morgana Mode Gone. However, this time, it's the cursed wave itself that's ambushing them. This time, not in an area, but the Root Town itself. Kite, Black Rose, and Balmung of the Azure Sky versus Korbenik, the Rebirth. With the group not able to properly prepare, the battle is especially arduous, but they eventually take down its first form. Yes, its first form. Its second form is more aggressive with new and more powerful attacks, and if the battle wasn't hard enough, eventually the enemy adopts a shield called a Supreme Defense, nullifying all attacks.
It's impossible.
No, we'll lose if we give up!
Give Orca back!
Everyone is here. We are all fighting.
I can't just let you guys handle it alone.
Sis, you're Black
Black Rose, right?
Ballmonk of the Azure Sky, Orca of the Azure Sea. I do not want to lose to you!
Go, Chief!
I'm Section Chief now!
Boink.
Damn you!
There's one last form. They continue to fight unwavering, enduring its attacks, including data drain this time. But suddenly,
The server!
What?
It's crashing! No! It can't sustain!
We're almost there! Helma!
It recovered?
Who knows? But one thing's for certain. My server is dead.
It doesn't matter. Now is the time to end this!
Morgana tries and succeeds in destroying Helba's server, yet somehow the entire group is saved from falling comatose. Now there's nowhere left for either side to run. This is it. The Dothackers versus Morgana mode gone. They eventually bring it down, but something's wrong.
We did it! It's Draenheart.
This is it.
Monk!
Black Rose!
Aura?
Mother.
Instantly, the Dothackers return, as well as the coma victims. The game is also restored to normal as well. Aura is saved, Morgana's gone, the coma victims have recovered, and both worlds are saved. The war is over.
Data stabilized. You did it.
I heard Aura's voice. Except
She was born, both her and Morgana. To be born, they may have had to die first.
Apoptosis. It is one of the patterns of life and death.
The world's always being changed by everyone's heart. Oh! I got kicked by my baby!
Is it finally over now? Is it?
No. It's just begun.
He's right. This is only the beginning, and it's the dawn of a new day. It's been a few months into 2011, and the world is running better than ever. The network itself, the world over, is also reported to be in stable condition again. Everyone's happy. However, considering Ultimate OS was one of the systems affected by the network crisis, and the fact that the network crisis started with the world, both Ultimate Corp and CC Corp are under federal investigation by the FBI. The WNC has announced that they're disbanding and starting a new agency, with the US President releasing an official statement later, while resigning from the agency itself, while also announcing he's stepping down as president. Kite receives numerous congratulatory and gratitude-filled flash mails from all of his friends, including Leos, who jokingly calls himself a pighead. He also receives a flashmail from Aura, this one completely readable, asking to meet with him and Orca in the area where all of this started. Rumors of the Dothackers are spread across the forums as well, and also rumors about another cat character. Kite logs in and is greeted by everyone, including Orca. After greeting everyone, Kite and Orca meet with Aura in the dungeon. She's fully restored and all-powerful. I'll explain later. She gives Kite a new Twilight bracelet, Daybreak. This new version won't cause Kubia to appear. Halba also sends Kite a flashmail stating that 3 new characters have appeared in Netslum and gives him their member addresses as well as her own. Interesting. Later on, Aura sends Kite another flashmail. This one, though completely readable, is still cryptic. Regardless, she hints at something new that is trying to be born and Kite needs to deal with it. Looks like there's one last thing to do. Upon logging in, Kite meets up with Elk. He received the same mail from Aura and wants to go with Kite. He, Elk, and Black Rose enter the area. It's an extremely dangerous area full of data bugs, more than the last one, and the dungeon is even longer than the last one as well.
A cat? Are you... No, wait! Don't go! It's Mia! Did you see that? That was Mia!
Let's keep going.
Huh? Mia? Tell me, are you Mia?
Maha?
Ow, Mia was destroyed. Even with the new bracelet, excessive use of Daedrin is causing a dangerous strain on Kite. But they power through it and make it to the end. When they arrive at the final room, they see a guardian, like the ones before, even though Morgana's gone. But this one is named differently, the Dawn Wanderer. And even though its health isn't infinite, like the data bugs, or the phases, it's still corrupted. It's not a fight that's too long or too difficult, but just when they think they've won, it somehow resurrects and adopts a new form and name, the Tempter's Lover, and Maha's inside it. Eventually, they take it down for good, and Maha is free from her imprisonment. Only it's not Maha, it's Mia. She's back.
I'm so happy that you came back!
Hi, Elk. That's a unique bracelet. Can I take a look?
Mia, your memories, they're...
Can you see it?
Yes, of course. Do you mean to say you can't see this nice bracelet? Even if you can't see it, as long as you know it's there, it's the same thing as seeing it, right?
Yes, it is.
Mia's memories.
all right. Because you will be with her.
Me? Okay. I am always going to be with Mia. And I am going to help you remember things. Hey, call me again when you're going to play in the world. Don't forget us. Mia and I will be waiting. So long.
I'll see you around.
And with that, we can finally bring this chapter to a close.